very good morning to all of you. I hope you all are doing well. Today, let us start with the last poem in the course, which was somehow left out. This poem is from Unit 2 of our course. That was, Unit 2, which was titled Gender. Okay, so a prayer for my daughter, written by William Butler Yeats. Okay, William Butler Yeats is an important Irish writer. He's from Dublin, and William Butler Yeats is known as a great symbolist. He uses symbols from common life to explain you certain experiences from his own life, right? Now this poem, A Prayer for My Daughter, as the name suggests, is a personal poem dealing with poets' experiences of love and family, and let us say politics. Okay, now I have already told you that he is a symbolist. Now at one level, the poem has a historical relevance, right? And at the second level, it has a political reference too. How it has, let us begin the poem and then I can connect the things. Okay, so how it starts, before that, please remember that A Prayer for My Daughter is written after the birth of his daughter Anne Butler Yeats, right? This poem he has written after the birth of his daughter Anne Butler Yeats, and it is from the volume Michael Robarts and the Dancer. See, मैं आपको ये चीजें इसीलिए बताती हूँ because such things, such references, they always fetch you more marks, right? But then the information which you give must be correct. Okay, so once more the storm is howling. There is a lot of noise, and half hid, storm over here is wind of course, and half hid under this cradle hood and coverlid my child sleeps. Now my child is Anne Butler Yeats's daughter. Okay, and it is a baby, she's just a baby and she's lying in the cradle palna jisko bolte hain Hindi mein. Now she's lying there and the poem is moving uneasily. Why he's moving uneasily? Why he's saying once more the storm is howling. Actually ये once more जो storm है ना, this storm is the reference to the political, not historical, to this political upheaval, and that political upheaval where in Europe after World War I, I'm using short form, please take it, and Irish Rebellion. अब Irish Rebellion हुआ है, which means there was a civil war. तो दो चीजों का political effect है. किसका? World War I का and the after effects of the Irish War. That is the war within the country, जिसको हम civil war बोलते हैं, right? And the storm is, the first line says, the storm is still howling, the storm is still crying, which means that the political situation is bothering the poet. Why it is bothering the poet? In relation to the future of his daughter. That if such upheavals continue, how it is gonna affect my daughter's future. Okay? अब आप इसको connect करने की कोशिश कीजिए. With every aspect, every paragraph we'll be reading, this is the background to it, right? The poet is worried about the civil war that has taken place and the world war that has taken place and the after effects of that political situation which may come on his daughter, who is right now just an infant. Okay? Let's start again. Once more the storm is howling, and half hid under this cradle hood and coverlid, my child sleeps on. There is no obstacle, nothing can stop the storm, he says. Nothing can stop the physical storm that is rising, and nothing can stop the political storm, political upheaval. But Gregory's wood. Now, Lady Gregory is no one but a friend of W.B. Yeats, and he says that the woods, her woods are the forest. There is a wood, there are forests of Lady Gregory, and a bare hill, an empty hill, which somehow will stop the storm, the wind, tufan, you know, the wind that is coming from and rising from the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so but Gregory's wood, there is no obstacle but Gregory's wood, and one bare hill, whereby the haystack and roof leveling wind. Now the wind is so fierce, so strong, you know, that it has taken the roofs along with it. जो hay, सूखे घास के roofs हैं, they have all moved with the wind, and some roofs have been, roof leveling means the roofs have blown away with the wind. The wind is so fierce, the wind is so strong. Bred on the Atlantic, it arose from the Atlantic Ocean, can be stayed. And for an hour, I have walked and prayed because of the great gloom. Gloom is sadness that is in my mind. And why is he sad? Why is gloom in his mind? Because he is afraid about the future of his daughter. Not just his daughter, but he is also afraid of the future of humankind, or let us say the mankind, right? He's afraid what will happen to his daughter in the future and what will happen to the human race. The first paragraph tells you everything about the poem. What is the idea behind the poem? After that, there are certain other aspects which Yeats has elaborated upon. So he says, last वाले paragraph से line दोबारा repeat हो रही है. I have walked and prayed for this young child an hour. 1 hour say I'm strolling from here and there and I have been praying. What are my prayers? What am I doing? And heard sea wind scream. There is so much noise which I can hear. The wind is shouting in my ears. Upon the tower and under the arches of the bridge and scream. अब जो ये words है ना, मैंने आपको क्या बताया कि W.B. Yeats is a great symbolist. Now, what he is doing, what he is trying to tell you, that because of these political upheavals and the historical events like this which have taken place, what is happening? क्या words use किए हैं उन्होंने? Tower. Tower stands for aristocratic culture, right? And here heard the sea wind scream upon the tower and arches. Arches is nothing but your church, right? Arches of the bridge and scream in the elms. Elms are trees. Above the flooded stream, imagining in excited reverie. So as he's walking near his daughter and he's worried about her future, he is thinking that the sea wind is screaming and he's feeling as if he's in a reverie. Reverie क्या होता है? Daydreaming. ठीक है? He's daydreaming, and what he is trying to say that the towers and the arches are being destroyed by what? They are being destroyed by the wind, which implies that these political upheavals, what they are doing, they are being threatened. ये अच्छे से समझना है, पैराग्राफ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ना? They are being threatened. Towers जो कि represent क्या करते हैं? Aristocratic culture represent करते हैं, and arches which represent the church, right? The churches over there. So they are threatened by forces of violence and murder. This is what poem is trying to tell you. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं कि Yeats is a great symbolist. He is using symbols. He is using the tower which stands for the aristocratic culture, right? And the arches represent the church. So what is happening? The wind is destroying these, which means जिसका implication ये है कि जो culture और जो religion है country का, that is being disturbed, that is being threatened because of the Irish rebellion or the civil war which is taking place in the country. So the roots of the country, which is represented by culture, which is represented by their religion, which is represented by the people of the country, is being disturbed, is being threatened, is the right word, is being threatened by the forces of violence and murder. ठीक है? समझ आया? I hope you can connect it now. So this is his daydreaming. He is imagining this in excited daydreaming, that the future years had come. Now what is gonna happen is, this is gonna happen because of this civil war, because of this political upheaval, these things will be threatened. Dancing to the frenzied drum. Frenzied hota hai, a drum which is covered and you're beating it so badly. Huge heavy voices of the drums. Out of the murderous innocence of the sea. Now innocence is innocence that kills. Now what kind of innocence is what comes in the next paragraph. वो उससे connected है. But till here, reverie and the future years is, the poet is worried about this. The poet is worried about the future of his daughter, the future of human race, and he is worried about his culture, about his religion, about his people who are being threatened by the forces of violence as well as murder. Or Q, why that is happening? Because of the civil war that is taking place in the country. Civil war hota hi country ke andar hai, right? That is why the name is Irish Rebellion. Clear? Okay, now his prayer starts. May she be granted beauty and yet not beauty to make a stranger's eye distraught. Now in the first two stanzas he has introduced to us the main theme that he is trying to show in this poem, and through the symbol of wind and other symbols that he uses, he is trying to tell us the poem at these two levels, the historical and the political level. Now he is touching upon the love angle. How? He's saying that his daughter, now he's starting his prayer, that his daughter should be that much beautiful that she doesn't distracts anybody else. She should not be extremely beautiful to distract somebody else, or hers before a looking glass. For such, now two things: her beauty should not increase her vanity, increase her pride, that oh, I am so beautiful. One thing. Second thing, her beauty should not distract the other person. Two things at the same time he's saying. Okay? Being made beautiful over much. She should not be beautiful over much. Consider beauty a sufficient end. Lose natural kindness and maybe the heart revealing intimacy. Now, you know what he is trying to say here very beautifully. He's saying that as far as beauty is concerned, he's praying to God that make her daughter that much beautiful so that she doesn't loses the feminine qualities. Feminine qualities क्या होती हैं? Natural kindness होती है. That is a feminine quality. That should mean what beautiful is. Natural kindness is being beautiful. Then natural intimacy. What word she uses? Heart revealing intimacy. That is intimacy, we should say. And closeness. Okay, so she should not be that beautiful that she may distract somebody else. She should not be that beautiful that when she looks herself in the mirror, she becomes proud of herself. And she should not be that much beautiful that she loses the feminine qualities. And what are the feminine qualities? Feminine qualities are kindness. Feminine qualities are intimacy and closeness. This is what he is trying to tell in this paragraph. The heart revealing intimacy that chooses right and never find a friend. That is a sincere friend. Right? Now, there is a, what should I say? His real life experience. He was in love with a very beautiful lady. Maud Gonne was her name. Maud Gonne. Okay. He was madly in love with her, but she fooled him. Let me not use the word fooled. She cheated him and she married another man. Okay. So this really disturbed him. And what through this paragraph, what is he trying to do? He's trying to say that I don't want my daughter to be like Maud Gonne. She was so beautiful. She was proud of her beauty, and she made sorry she made a wrong choice in her life, because of which she is still suffering. To explain you this sufferings, which ladies, I should say women from the mythology, they have done some blunders and because of which they suffered. And especially such women who were known for being the most beautiful women on the earth. Maud Gonne तो उनकी lover है ना? She was his lover, but she married somebody else and she left the poet. The examples that he is giving you is from the mythology, Greek mythology. Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy को the most beautiful woman in the world माना जाता था, right? This is from the myth. And the second was Venus. Right? Now what or how their mythology goes, or how their not mythology, but how their story goes. Helen, being chose, found life flat and dull, and later had much trouble from a fool. Now, Helen of Troy, she married Melanus, King Melanus, but she cheated Melanus and married a fool who was known as, or whose name was Paris. And because of this treachery, because of this cheating, she eloped with Paris, of course, right? And what happened? Because of this, there was a 10-year war. 10-year war took place because of the blunder which Helen of Troy committed. She was married to Melanus, King Melanus, but she eloped. Elope करना क्या होता है? भाग जाना किसी के साथ. She eloped with King Paris, and what was the result of her blunder? That there took a war which lasted for 10 years, right? Next, being fatherless, let me read from the line 1. Helen, being chose, found life flat and dull, and later had much trouble from a fool. He is being referred to as fool. While that great queen that rose out of spray, being fatherless, could have her way, yet chose a bandy-legged smith for man. So she married an Ire Smith. It's certain that fine women, okay, before that, as far as this queen is concerned, that queen, Aphrodite, Venus in Roman mythology. So what is her story? Aphrodite was the goddess of love in Greek mythology, और Roman mythology में उनको Venus बोला जाता है. And ये जो बोल रहे हैं ना, what is it written? Rose out of the spray. It means she was born from the sea, Venus, the god of love. She married lame, a person who cannot walk properly, Vulcan, god of fire and patrons of the smiths, ironsmiths, right? But then what happened? She was not able to bear children, right? Now from these examples, मॉडगॉन की बात करें, उसकी लवर, यीट्स की लवर, हेलेन ऑफ ट्रॉय की बात करें, एफ्रोडाइट, वीनस की बात करें, what is the poet trying to tell you? He's saying in the concluding in the last lines, it is certain that fine women eat a crazy salad. Now it doesn't mean that they eat a stupid salad. No, a crazy salad means they make wrong choices in life. And what are these wrong choices made out of? Out of their wrong pride, right? Which they have of their beauty and everything. So they eat a crazy salad with their meat, whereby the horn of plenty. अब ये जो horn of plenty है ना, ये God Zeus ने अपने सबसे अच्छे काम करने वाले को दिया था. और वो horn क्या था? वो हर wish पूरी करता था. It was a wish fulfilling horn. So horn of plenty is under means whatever talents God had given all these people, all these beautiful women, they wasted it. Undone का मतलब है wasting the talents that God gave you. You wasted the feminine quality of natural kindness. You wasted the feminine quality of being full of love, of being full of intimacy, of being full of closeness, right? So that is what he means. And through these examples, he is trying to tell us that plainer women, women who are simple, women who are not so much proud of their beauty, they appreciate kindness and courtesy, and they win our hearts, rather than women like these who are full of pride of their beauty and they also cheat upon their lovers or the friends. Okay? So I hope till here it should be clear to you. First two lines, first two paragraphs, first two stanzas, focus on this. Then next two stanzas, focus on his worries. Third stanza and fourth stanza, he is making a comparison that he doesn't want his daughter to be like all of them, right? Now, in courtesy, I would have her chiefly learned. So what he wants her to be? He wants her to be, she should have manners. She should be mannered. जहाँ तक ब्यूटी की बात है, कैसी ब्यूटी होनी चाहिए? She should have the feminine qualities of a female, right? She should not be proud of her beauty, and she should not make wrong decisions in life. So, in courtesy, in her polite behavior, I have her chiefly learned. Learned का मतलब है यहाँ पे, he wants her to be well behaved. Hearts are not had as gift, but hearts are earned, which simply means that love is earned. Love cannot be gifted, right? Love is earned. Love is not gifted by those that are not entirely beautiful, by those who are not attracted by their charm, rather than who are attracted by their charm, not by their beauty. So, yet many that have played the fool, for beauty's very self has charm made wise. And many a poor man that has roved, loved and thought himself beloved, from a glad kindness cannot take his eyes. So, from his experience, he is stating how he wants his daughter to be. So, he's telling his daughter, or he would like to tell her daughter, whom he wants to be well mannered and whom he is teaching the lesson that love is not earned but it is gifted. He is telling out of his own experience. Obviously, it is a lesson for his daughter, but as readers, we too are learning the lesson from that. And what he says that for beauty's very self has charm made wise. He says, I was foolish because I was running after beauty of Maud Gonne, right? But I found happiness, I found love in something that was not very beautiful. Now, actually, he married, just a second, he married Georgie Hyde Leese. This was the lady whom Yeats married, and she was not very beautiful, but she had the talent of being charming, and that charm of Lee made the poet wise, right? And many a poor man that has roved, people who have become foolish, they have wandered from place to place, loved and thought himself beloved. And I have realized that I could really find love and happiness with a person who is not very beautiful. From a glad kindness, that is cheerfulness, cannot take his eyes. So through his own examples, what he is trying to say, he is trying to tell us that we should not be attracted to beauty. Rather, something or somebody who is not that beautiful may have these qualities of being well-mannered, the quality of having natural kindness, the quality of having love, true love, what we call, and the charm, which is the most important aspect as far as beauty is concerned, right? Now, next paragraph, he is continuing his prayers for his daughter, and in this paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th paragraph, he is praying for her daughter and as a poet over here, he is using symbols. What he says, may she become a flourishing hidden tree. That all her thoughts may be like the linnet. Linnet is a bird, okay? And what is he saying? The hidden tree. What is that hidden tree? Hidden tree that represents courtesy, that is well manners, that represents charm, that means beauty. So may she become a flourishing hidden tree, that all her thoughts may like the linnet be. Linnet is over here a bird, not over here, मतलब linnet is a bird. And linnet एक ऐसी bird है जो spontaneity के लिए मानी जाती है, you know, she's popularly known for that, for being spontaneous, and have no business but dispensing around, making spreading happiness around, dispensing, spreading their magnanimities of sound. So linnet क्या spread कर रही है? Dispensing around their magnanimities of sound, greatness of music. It sings beautifully, the linnet bird. Not but in merriment begin a chase, nor but in merriment a quarrel. So this linnet bird is happy in love and in quarrel too. So nothing is making this bird sad. So, oh, may she live some green laurel, rooted in one dear perpetual place. अब ये जो linnet tree है ना, linnet bird, not linnet bird, I have already told you. ये जो laurel tree है, laurel tree is R-E-L. This is tree of God, which stands for what? It stands for knowledge. It stands for art, and it stands for wisdom, right? So what he wants, he wants a Christian tree, hidden tree का मतलब यहाँ Christian tree of life है. And what should happen there? This linnet bird should always be singing on the laurel tree, which means that his daughter be always granted this light of knowledge, art and wisdom. In symbols ke through, he is trying to pray for his daughter that she achieves knowledge, art as well as wisdom, and there should be no bitterness. She should never get this attitude of bitterness in her. That is why he says, nor but in merriment begin a chase, nor but in merriment a quarrel. So whether it's quarrel, whether it's love, she is always happy. Okay, so this is the prayer through the symbols which Yeats is making for his daughter. Next, my mind, because the minds that I have loved, the sort of beauty that I have approved, prosper but little, has dried up of late. Now this is very significant, and it is a life lesson for all of us. You know what he is trying to say? That I loved Maud Gonne, really, I loved her a lot, but she cheated me, let us say, because she suffered. As far as I am concerned, she had we will say, she had a kind of hatred for me. And what was that? Intellectual hatred, right? intellectual hatred. Because of this, she left the poet and she married, who was this? Mac Bridges. He married this man, Major McBride, and again she left him also. She separated from him also. But what is he trying to tell in this particular passage, in this particular stanza? He says his mind has become dry due to his failed love, right? Why he says my mind, because the minds that I have loved, he had fallen in love for Mordcon, the sort of beauty that I had approved prosper but little, and now his eye has dried up late. His mind has become dry because of failed love. Yet knows that to be choked with hate. Yet knows, so what is he trying to do? He is trying to keep his mind free from hatred. Choked with hate means, choke means to suffocate. So he is not having any kind of hatred towards Mordcon. May well be of all evil chances chief, if there is no hatred in the mind. So when there is no kind of hatred in your mind, no destruction can come to you. And again he's saying that if your mind is without hatred, there is no hatred in your mind, then such political evils, such storms cannot affect you. Assault and battery of the wind. Assault or battery जो हैं, they and wind also, they three stand for adverse historical and political circumstances. मतलब ये जो दो symbols हैं, which means assault क्या होता है? External attacks, right? So assaults, battery, and your wind, they all are symbols for these two, right? Political and historical upheavals that have taken. So, but if your mind is free from hatred, such upheavals will not affect you at any kind. Can never tear the linnet from the leaf. So simultaneously he is using three each symbols to represent. Through assault, battery and wind, he is representing the political and the historical upheaval that has taken place. And he says if there is no hatred in my mind, then assault, battery and battery of the wind can never tear the linnet from the leaf. The linnet bird which sits on the laurel tree, right? It will never fly from there, which means his heart will always be filled with beauty, sweetness and harmony. और ये कौन represent करता है इसको? Linnet. The bird represents beauty, sweetness and harmony, right? Next paragraph he says, intellectual hatred is the worst, bad kind of hatred. He says, what kind of hatred is bad? Which is based on ideology. अब ये पिछले वाले पैराग्राफ से भी कनेक्ट हो रहा है, right? Why Mordcon left him? Because she had intellectual hatred towards him. So let her think opinions are accursed. Opinions जो होते हैं वो bad होते हैं. Accursed means bad. Have I not seen the loveliest woman born, Mordcon के लिए use हो रहा है, out of the mouth of plenty's horn. That is, she was very gifted. She was not just beautiful, but she was really gifted. But because of her opinionated mind, that is, she was what? She was self-opinionated. अपने ही opinions थे, अपना ही notions थे उनके. And because of that self-opinionated mind or thought, self-opinionated thoughts, what she did? She made the wrong choice in life, number one, and she wasted her talents. She wasted the plenty of horn that was gifted to her. Very interesting. दोनों पैराग्राफ जैसे लिंक हो रहे हैं. So barter करना क्या होता है? To exchange. In exchange of her opinionated thoughts, right? She exchanged her goodness, exchanged her love, exchanged her beauty, and every good but quiet natures understood. And what she gave in exchange? She gave in exchange all her gifts that she had, the gifts of being beautiful, the gift of being wise, the gift of being having knowledge. All these gifts she wasted. How? For an old bellows full angry mind. Angry, full, ये जो explanation है, old bellows full of angry wind, not mind, angry wind. This is the description of Major McBride, whom Mordaunt married. And old bellows full of angry wind means he was an angry and a boisterous man who was again proud of his stature and everything. And what happened? What Mordaunt did? She wasted. Her wrong choice led to the wastage of her talents and her gifts. Okay, so eventually what is happening? What through these two paragraphs? He is trying to tell you that my mind has gone up dry because my love was not successful, right? He's guiding his daughter, or he would guide his daughter when she'll grow up, right? But what is the main thing he's trying to say? That as far as opinions are concerned, we should not hate anybody, and especially intellectual hatred is always bad, which eventually जिसकी वजह से क्या हो जाते हो आप? Self opinionated हो जाते हो, which always leads to wrong decisions. And when you make wrong decisions in life, your gifts, your talents, which plenty of horn, let us say, which God has given you, are totally wasted, right? Now, considering that all hatred driven, hence the soul recovers radical innocence. Now he says, when the hatred, any kind of hatred, is out from the mind, what happens? The soul gets what? The soul becomes innocent. The soul gets its original soul regains its innocence. How? When there is no hatred. When there is no hatred in the mind, then the soul regains its innocence and learns at last that it is self-delighting, it is cheerful, it is self-appeasing, which means pleasing, it is self-affrighting, which means it teaches you to be in discipline, and that its own sweet will is heaven's will. The will of the soul becomes the will of the heaven, which means will of the soul is God's will too. She can, though every face should scowl करना होता है to make somebody angry, and every windy quarter howl, if somebody is shouting at her, if somebody is trying to make bad faces at her, trying to make her angry, or every bellows burst, be still happy. Bellows burst, bellows is pumping air in the instrument, मतलब आप किसी को तंग करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, you know. Bellows, वो जो एक पाइप होता है ना, which is used for चूल्हे में हवा देने के लिए, you know, so that the air lights up, fire lights up, उसके लिए जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट होता है वो bellows होता है. Here what how he's using it, that when somebody is trying to poke her mind, somebody is trying to put hatred in her mind, but she has already realized what her soul has regained its innocence, then nothing can affect her. No hatred, no malice of any kind will ever affect her. So people may shout at her, but her cheerfulness will not be affected. और ऐसा कब होता है? When there is no hatred in the mind, when the soul's will becomes the will of heaven. And now, in this concluding paragraph, Yeats is telling that what kind of family, into what kind of family her daughter should get married, right? And may her bridegroom bring her to a house. What kind of house should she go to? Where all's accustomed, where there are well established customs and traditions, and where all's accustomed, ceremonious means full of ceremony. For arrogance and hatred are wares होते हैं commodities. जो rudeness होती है ना, और जो hatred he says, they are like commodities peddled in the thoroughfares. Thoroughfares means public roads and path. So people who belong to good families, good aristocratic families, and who are nice, who are innocent, they do not behave, or they do not show anger, they do not show arrogance, they do not show rudeness, they do not show hatred. For these things are very common things which are seen on public roads. But in custom and in ceremony. Now custom, ये भी फिर से symbol है यहाँ पे. Custom Yeats use कर रहे हैं cultural rootedness के लिए. Starting में mention आया था ना churches, and there was a mention of art, not the arches. What was the first thing that mentioned? Towers. Yes, towers, aristocratic culture, right? And ceremony. Two symbols which he is again using, and ceremony is used for horn of plenty. और यहाँ पे horn of plenty क्या symbolize कर रहा है, और what ceremony is symbolizing? It is symbolizing physical, intellectual, material gifts and talents. So this is what ceremony is representing. Now let me read the last 4 lines again to connect it. How but in custom and in ceremony are innocence and beauty born. Ceremonies, a name for the rich horn. Rich horn which is full of, where there is plenty of physical, intellectual and material gifts, where people are talented. Talented means where people are rooted in their culture, in their old traditional aristocratic life and culture, right? So ceremonies, a name for the rich horn, and custom for spreading laurel tree. Now custom stands for cultural rootedness. You should not uproot yourself from the cultural roots. Spreading laurel tree, and laurel tree we have already studied that it is a symbol for knowledge, wisdom and art which can grow and prosper. So it is this kind of married life where a family in which there is a lot of respect of culture and cultural rootedness, and where people respect the gifts that a person possess. She should, and Butler Yeats should get married into such a family. Okay, so through various symbols, Yeats is making prayer for his daughter, right? He is scared of these upheavals that are going on. He's scared for the future of his daughter. He's scared for the future of, he's worried, let us not say scared. He's worried about the future of human race. And he says that people should get themselves rid of hatred. When they don't have hatred in their minds, then nothing can affect them. If the other person is hating them, if the other person is making them angry, it will not affect them. Why? Because their soul has achieved a kind of innocence. Innocence which is similar like God's will, right? So these are certain aspects, these are certain things which Yeats want that his daughter should adapt. And as far as beauty is concerned, as far as love is concerned, he says that beauty, she should not be beautiful like the Helen of Troy or Aphrodite, Venus, right? What she should do, she should be as much beautiful as she is able to maintain the natural feminine qualities of a lady, right? She should be calm, she should be innocent, she should be full of love, full of intimacy, right? So these are certain things, these are certain prayers which W.B. Yeats makes for his daughter, right? And a connection he has built up. He's trying to tell you the upheavals, and through these upheavals he's also trying to tell you that how the human race can be saved. It is not just a prayer for his daughter, right? It is prayer for the human race also. He's worried about them also because of the civil war that is taking place. Okay, now somehow everything is connected, and how you are able to understand this connection is very important, right? See the video in tits and bits, have the text with you, तभी आपको poem समझ आएगी. Okay, it is not complicated. It may be lengthy, but it is not complicated. When you're seeing the video, sit with your copy and pen and your text. This is the textbook, and write down the symbols that are going on. Right? There is one aspect which I want to tell you. कुछ words ऐसे आए हैं जैसे कि murderous innocence, right? Radical hatred. तो ये क्या होते हैं? They are oxymorons. Oxymoron is a literary term. It is a figure of speech. ठीक है? Where what happens? Where contradictory terms appear. Where contradictory terms appear, like murderous innocence, which means innocence that kills. Can innocence kill? No, it is totally opposite, right? Then say for example, beautifully painful. तो ये जो दो conjunctions, दो words जो join किए हैं ना, they are contradictory to each other. Beautiful cannot be painful, but how it has been painful we have seen in the poem. There are other examples also. Glad kindness, of course it means cheerfulness. Murderous innocence is of course there. Natural kindness is not an oxymoron, but yes, murderous innocence is one good example as far as oxymorons are concerned. Okay, so that is all about a prayer for my daughter. Listen to it very carefully, make your notes, jot down the symbols, and I think you will be able to understand. Still, if you have problems, any doubts that come to your mind, you're most welcome. Now we are finished with the course, right? And the next next course of action, what we are gonna do, I will let you know. Okay, that's all for a prayer for my daughter. Thank you so much.